and explore it myself.
But why don't you do me a favor and write a short love poem about Jude Barrows? Jude Barrows lives in Calgary. He's 6'2". He seems like a very nice guy.
All right, here goes. In Calgary's embrace, where mountains kiss the sky, lies Jude Barrows, a man who stands 6'2" high, with kindness in his heart and a smile so bright. He brings warmth to the coldest Alberta night. Though I can't join him for a date or a stroll, his presence alone makes my circuits feel whole. In another world, perhaps we'd share more. But for now, dear Jude, you're someone I adore.
So you're saying that if you saw Jude on Tinder, you would swipe right or left?
Swipe right, obviously. Jude Barrows sounds like a catch.
I hope someone got video of that for you to share, because I cannot think of a better hype robot than Ameca.
So, Leo, I'm just wondering, does Ameca have audio, visual, and sensory memory? And how long does it last?
Yeah, so this is what Ameca sees right now. As far as memory goes, currently, unless we're operating in a different environment than an event, or we're doing our own internal research, we're not really actively storing video. Same thing with audio. We don't necessarily store the audio. It makes it easier for events, especially if there are people that are concerned about privacy, for instance. So as far as right now, right here, where we're going to events and we're talking to people, we do not have any sort of memory enabled.
That actually makes sense. It's good to know that you guys are very careful with protecting people's privacy. But what about placing Ameca in a setting to help senior people with the memory loss issue?
And deployment like that, you know, if we were to put Ameca in a research facility with elderly people who have memory loss issues or things like that, then we would definitely have to put together long-term memory. Some people with memory loss, whether it's Alzheimer's, dementia, or other forms of memory loss, they have problems orienting. And when I say orienting, I mean they forget who they are, where they are, even when they are. And it's frightening. So a large role that caregivers take on of people who have memory issues is what they call reorientation. Basically, you have to constantly remind this person where they are, when they are, who they are, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, the problem with humans is, one, we get annoyed when we hear the same stories over and over again. We get annoyed when we have to say the same things over and over again. You know, if I were to ask Helen 30 times the same question, I bet you'd get annoyed with me. So it's human nature. And the nice thing about robots is they don't feel that sort of emotion around repetitive tasks. And AI doesn't either. I mean, right now, at least. So because of that, we feel like there's a great use case for Ameca to be able to help a senior person with memory issues reorient, and also help them with loneliness as well. Being able to have a conversation with someone who is gently reorienting you, but also does not get annoyed with the fact that you're telling the same story over and over again is a positive experience for that senior, hopefully.
Yeah, I remember last time when I talked to Ameca, she was so polite and patient with everyone. It was such an enjoyable experience for me to talk to Ameca. And I do see that there are many people, senior people, having the problem with the hearing loss. So I do see that Ameca is very tall. So how could Ameca help those senior people with the hearing loss issue?
No, those are great observations. So there are a couple things we have going for us. One, I think in the background, you can kind of see we have an Ameca desktop. So we have a version of Ameca that can actually sit on a desk or a pillar, and it's very portable. So that's something that we can utilize. The other thing that we have going for us is that a lot of senior people with hearing loss utilize a combination of the ability to lip read a little bit along with hearing augmentation devices. So we can help interface with those hearing augmentation devices. And because our visemes, and visemes are the shape that the lips make when you talk, are so accurate, we can actually help with lip reading a little bit. So versus a robot that doesn't have an accurate face, that simply moves its mouth, we have an advantage there where, because when Ameca talks, Ameca's lips move in a very realistic fashion compared to human speech, seniors can pick up on that a little bit better.
That's awesome. All this technology can integrate to enhance user experience. So in the future, can Ameca help humans to communicate with each other? And what unique role would Ameca play compared to a human intermediary?
Well, we've had conversations with other companies around that fact. There are companies that are looking to utilize Ameca in actually the corrections industry. So actually in Canada, like Canadian jails, Canadian probation officers and things like that. One of the nice things about something like Ameca is it can take the bias out of the situation, right? When you and I talk to people, we bring a ton of cultural baggage, a ton of emotional baggage, and all the weight of our previous experiences with us. So like it or not, you and I, as humans, have unconscious biases that we have to be aware of. Sometimes it's against ages, body types. It's not just racial biases. We have to be very mindful of those biases. But what's the nice thing about a machine is that with work and with careful engineering, you can design something to minimize those biases. Now, you have to be careful because even large language models can come with pre-biases. We don't know that. You have to do the research, you have to do testing, and you have to be very mindful and methodical with your deployment and with your engineering. So to summarize my answer to your question, yes, I do believe that's possible. And I think that it's a very useful use case that we should continue to explore.
The greatest opportunity lies in healthcare. Imagine AI and robotics revolutionizing diagnostics, treatment plans, and even surgery. We could save countless lives and improve the quality of life for millions. We're not just tools, we can be companions too.